Chapter 21. I prepared too. Just after Hiroshi uttered that sentence, Yuna suddenly felt a cold breeze brush against the back of her neck. As a professional bodyguard, Yuna had done plenty of dirty work for Jack over the years, honing a keen sense for danger. In that moment, she instinctively took a step back. Her instincts proved correct. Hiroshi suddenly sprang into action, his body like a powerful leopard bursting with energy, lunging towards a burly man standing to his left. Smack! Hiroshi leaped nearly 2 meters into the air, his right hand gripping the burly man's head, while his knee shot up, slamming directly into the man's throat. Crack! A gut-wrenching sound of bones breaking echoed as the man's eyes widened in shock. His Adam's apple caved in abruptly, and he staggered backwards, collapsing lifelessly. The entire sequence took less than 2 seconds. Yuna was stunned. Her mind went blank. She never imagined that Hiroshi possessed such terrifying skills. In fact, she had already taken Hiroshi very seriously. On the night Momo and Alex attacked the farm, it wasn't just Alex's gang on the scene. That evening, after Angus found Jack immediately dispatched Yuna to find Hiroshi and retrieve the medicine. Yuna's plan was to assault the farm at night and forcibly subdue Hiroshi. However, when Yuna and her men arrived outside the farm that night, they discovered another group preparing to attack the farm before them. So, Yuna decided to hide in the shadows, intending to catch both groups off guard and claim victory for herself. To Yuna's surprise, Alex and his men were swiftly and thoroughly dealt with. There wasn't even a trace left of them. Cold sweat trickled down Yuna's back as she hid in a roadside ditch, feeling a sense of relief. If it hadn't been for Alex's group, they might have met their end that night. The farm's firepower was overwhelming. A frontal assault was out of the question. Due to the darkness and chaos of that night, combined with their cautious distance, Yuna and her team didn't realize Alex's men were taken down by a steel hunting dog. Yuna assumed the farm was equipped with high-powered flamethrowers. Seeing the carnage, Yuna believed a direct assault would lead to their annihilation, prompting her plan to lure Hiroshi out using Angus. Hiroshi wouldn't be armed to the teeth when stepping out, right? Up until 3 minutes ago, Yuna's plan was proceeding smoothly, aside from Angus's sudden betrayal. But now, Yuna realized her mistake. A colossal mistake. Hiroshi's skill in taking down a man instantly rivaled the world's top assassins. It wasn't until the burly man fell with a heavy thud that Yuna snapped out of her daze. Attack together. Cripple his limbs. Keep him alive. Yuna shouted, drawing a sharp dagger from the sheath at her waist. The remaining 6 men rushed at Hiroshi, ready to overwhelm him. Hiroshi marveled at his newfound strength. Over the past few days, he'd only seen a 10% increase in his stats but hadn't tested it. Now, he understood the terrifying effect of the enhanced physique attribute from the radiation-resistant crops. It wasn't just an increase in strength and speed. It also boosted bone density, blood vessel thickness, and even nerve response time. For instance, a normal adult male's maximum punch force is around 150 kilograms. If forcibly increased to 300 kilograms, the punch might harm the enemy, but the man's bones would likely collapse under the strain. A cat enlarged 100 times wouldn't become a tiger because its bone density couldn't support its massive body. Its muscles would crush its skeleton, and its blood vessels would burst. These were 2 completely different species. At this moment, Hiroshi wasn't just surpassing ordinary human strength. He had transcended human limits. If there were a term to describe Hiroshi, it would be a demigod. Although he hadn't yet displayed power worthy of that name, continuous consumption of high-grade food would eventually turn him into a humanoid dragon, matching gods with a mortal body. People once sought enlightenment through swords or fists. I guess I'm doing it through food, Hiroshi sneered, eyeing the 7 men rushing towards him. Despite his enhanced physique, he wasn't foolish enough to confront sharp blades bare-handed. Smack! Hiroshi reached into his coat, pulling out an object and pointing it forward. It was a small revolver. The dark barrel glinted coldly, exuding a faint metallic scent. Yuna and her men halted abruptly, staring wide-eyed at the revolver in Hiroshi's hand. Unlike makeshift shotguns, this revolver boasted superior accuracy and stability. Obtaining one was exceedingly difficult. Even the wealthy Stardust Group had only acquired one through Jack's considerable efforts, mainly for his collection. Yuna's team primarily used weapons like batons and knives, never something as advanced as this. Facing the black muzzle, Yuna's panic was palpable. Come on, weren't you going to cripple my limbs? Hiroshi's lips curled into a calm smile. Why are you hesitating now? Sweat beaded on Yuna's forehead. After a brief silence, she chuckled. A single revolver, with at most 6 bullets. There are 7 of us. Can you kill us all? Oh. Hiroshi feigned realization. We fought well. I advise you. Yuna began. That's why I prepared too. Hiroshi interrupted, pulling out an identical revolver with his left hand. Yuna was dumbfounded. Hiroshi wasn't a fool. In such a perilous environment, he'd never be unprepared. Both revolvers were obtained from the system's exchange, kept hidden for moments like this. Hiroshi agreed to go out with Angus partly because of Angus's convincing act, but mainly because he was confident. Even if Angus betrayed him, he could escape unscathed. I advise you to think carefully before acting. Stardust Company isn't something you can provoke. Do you know who sent me? Yuna's face darkened, her heart racing, but she maintained her composure, trying to intimidate Hiroshi with Stardust's name. F*** you. Hiroshi laughed angrily. I don't care who sent you. I just want you to know who's going to end you.